Hey y'all, it's Anime Gamer. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 9th episode of Goblin Slayer. And while this episode didn't really have blood pumping action with the large usage of CG, I gotta give at least credit to the people in the art department because there were a few instances where in some of the still shots when Goblin Slayer was slaying a few goblins, it had like a cool cell shaded like effect with like the red and like some of the black. So that was nice. And this episode, at least in some occasions, had some decent animation here and there, but for the most part, the animation was a bit below average of the Goblin Slayer standards. But that doesn't make this episode bad one bit, because at the very least, this episode did a fine job of, for one, it finally gave characterization to Sword Maiden, and at the same time, it gave her character development simultaneously. Because in the second half, after Goblin Slayer deals with this whole goblin situation, and he manages to like kill off a few goblins and kill off the goblin champion that escaped in the previous episode, and simultaneously also break this ancient mirror that's kind of like a transportation device so that goblins can't use it. After all that stuff's out of the way, I enjoyed the little sequences where, at least in this instance, you had Goblin Slayer talk to Sword Maiden, and then during a lot of these sequences, it was nice to see the Sword Maiden open up, saying things like, the reason why I didn't do anything against these goblins directly was because she has PTSD, because the goblins, at least in these flashbacks, it pretty much implies, even though it didn't show Sword Maiden get raped, we can pretty much see from the previous episodes what goblins do to women, and they get raped. And then it went further to show that they even torched her eyes, and that's why her eyes didn't look normal in the previous episode. So that was nice to see in this episode. To get to see why she wears a blindfold, why when it comes to goblins she doesn't react proactively. And then I like how this episode shows the irony that she was able to do all this badass shit, but she can't stand up to goblins due towards her PTSD. And that makes Sword Maiden an interesting sort of character, because who knows, maybe it could set her up towards, maybe someday she'll get rid of her trauma. But at the very least, when it kind of set up a scene where she can kind of lean on someone, because when Goblin Slayer is like, just tell me whenever you see goblins and I'll come and I'll arrive and slay them. And then just having that scene right there, and then when Sword Maiden's having the monologue saying that I'll cherish you, that was a sweet scene that now she finally has someone that she can rely on. And then it was funny when Goblin Slayer is like, no, I'm not gonna rescue you. I just want to slay some goblins. Like, just seeing Goblin Slayer straightforward with this, with these kind of interactions, despite all the emotions that Sword Maiden is laying down on the table, that also got me a few chuckles too. So it gave the scene sort of like a gravitas, because we got to know about Sword Maiden, and simultaneously it had still that humorous energy. So that scene was pretty good. And then I also enjoyed the sequences where, again, this episode had goblins feel kind of dangerous for once. Because I like how when these goblins were trying to attack our crew in the first half of the episode, and they had like this poisonous arrow that almost hit the elf and the priestess, I like how the animators actually emphasized at the very least of their poison tips with this liquid dripping. And it kind of made them feel dangerous, because you have the Lizard Man rescue both of the female party members in the cast so that they don't die. And I like that because it gives Goblin Slayer's crew sort of like a family-friendly like feel, and simultaneously it makes the goblins feel dangerous all at once. That's really the only disappointing thing about this episode was the goblin champion that came back. He just showed up just to be there, and then he just gets owned like a little bitch, despite the hype that they had when he was first introduced. But I guess that makes sense because he only had one eye, but I still feel like they should have used him much more epically. But all in all, the scenes involving the goblins were for the most part positive, because we got more bonding between the crew. And then I like how this episode even gave subtle character development to Goblin Slayer when he's all like, he wants to make an ice tree, and then when he's pretty much getting offered help by everyone and he agrees to it. And then I like how you see a bit of character development when he's talking to Elle saying, do you want to join again? And you're not going to kick me again if the treats don't turn out right. I like those kind of sequences because it's showing Goblin Slayer slightly become more sociable, because he actually finally made a joke back towards someone else. Because usually when Goblin Slayer says something, it's like either serious, 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 serious. And for once, this is an actual scene where he actually says something that's kind of funny. And I like that. It's slowly humanizing Goblin Slayer more. And it also gave character development towards him too, and a bit towards the elf, because you could sort of see the elf is caring more about the crew, Goblin Slayer is caring more about the crew, because now they're actually going to do something together, which is make an ice street. And all in all, it made for a pleasant episode. And as for the music, it was alright. The music was alright. And for the story, it made some good plot progression, because Goblin Slayer has finally achieved the mission that Sword Maiden gave out. And yeah, I'd say overall made for a decent, a bit above average episode, which is like a 7.5 out of 10. Didn't give it an 8 out of 10 was because of some of the animation issues, and the music wasn't really super well placed like some of the previous episodes. But other than that, it was an enjoyable watch, and it was still a slight bit above average. So anyways, guys and gals, these are my thoughts on the episode. Comment down your thoughts on the episode below in the comment section. Rate the video, subscribe if you want to see more Goblin Slayer reviews or some of my other content, and I'll see you guys later today if you stick around for my other channel content, or next week if you only stick around for the Goblin Slayer reactions. Alright guys and gals, have a great and safe day. Bye bye.